Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
I'm Jo'Van.
And I'm Brandice.
And you're watching
Closing the Gap.
Today, we are here to discuss anger, which is something Brandice knows all about. She's a very angry person, so she's going to have a lot to say today.
That is so not true. If anyone knows me, that's the farthest thing from the truth.
But they don't know you, so we can just go with it.
I think they do. We've done like 20-some episodes.
And they've seen how angry you are.
Clearly, my shirt says, be kind.
Oh, well, that's what an angry person shirt would say to deflect. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, anger. Something we all deal with on,
Yes.
I wouldn't say, well, some on a day-to-day basis, some every time they drive, and some people some whenever they get hungry.
Listen,
so we all.
Listen, driving, that's me. That will be me. I'm like, if looks can kill, I'm like, get out of my way.
Right. So, and there's different levels of anger, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, you could argue that driving anger, it can be, depending on how angry you get, it can be anywhere on that spectrum. But
Yes.
we just want to talk about like how Christians should deal with anger. And then we're going to list out like all different types of anger. I did want to start with a verse.
Yes. Start with the word.
And how the word addresses anger.
Yes.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31 says, "Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice." So the Bible's very clear on. Did y'all hear my new bike? Someone just stole it. The Bible talks about like not holding on to those feelings of anger. I mean, but I think we should also discuss like those feelings are going to come.
Yes.
If you're living, those feelings are still going to come. You shouldn't hold on to it, but we should talk about like what to do with that anger when we get it. So.
Yeah, and I actually have two scriptures I do want to bring up because, like you said, anger is a true emotion. And a lot of people feel like, oh, no, I don't want to feel that emotion, or you feel bad for getting angry or having that emotion. But it's a real emotion, but it's just how you deal with that anger that is the issue. So one is, and the scripture says, Ephesians 4:26, be ye angry. So it says you can be angry, but sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So it's saying you can be angry, but it's no sin. You have to manage and deal with your anger in an appropriate way. Now, we will definitely go over that today. And then also Proverbs 15:1. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. So I always have a good friend. I always tell him it's not what you say, but how you say it. Because you can get your point across and because a lot of people think, oh, I have to be meek and whatever. No, you can be very get your point across, but not be mean or harmful. So you get your point across in a nice way, nice words. Turn away anger, and they will receive whatever you're saying in a better way, as opposed to if you being harsh, like, oh, you would do that. Then of course that person will build up that anger, and then that's when the issue come into play. So, and there are 4 stages of anger. So first is the buildup. That's when you're starting to whatever somebody's picking at you or whatever. That's the buildup. So that's the area where you can like, okay, what am I gonna do? The second one is the spark. So somebody's building you up, somebody's nagging at you, and once it sparks to get bigger, that's when you have 3, the explosion. And then also 4 is the aftermath. So we want today to go over how to deal with anger and the different types of anger and how to better prevent the explosion so you won't have a bad aftermath when you're dealing with the buildup. Because it's going to come up. It's just going to make sure you're better prepared and to deal with anger.
Absolutely.
So just really cool. So what do you think is good ways to deal with anger?
Well, number one, don't repress it.
Yes.
I think as Christians, some of us can get confused and be like, okay, I'm not supposed to hold on to anger, or maybe they don't think about it like that, but like, I'm not supposed to be angry. But instead of it, like getting it out, they push it down and it's like, okay, like I'm not going to let anger control me. But at the same time, the more you repress it, and that's why I feel like there's also 2 types of anger. there's two types of people and how they deal with it. Some people just explode, and some people just hold it in
Yes.
until finally they just like shoot up the grocery store. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, for real.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying? And
yeah.
so it's like you have to deal with that anger in a healthy way, and maybe that's sitting down and thinking like, okay, where is this anger coming from? Is it really just one source, or are there things all happening at once? Which I'll go back to a simple example of, like, I'm hungry. When you're hungry, you may really be upset about that, but something else could happen,
Yes.
and now you're that small thing is a huge thing now. You know what I'm saying? Even though it shouldn't be. That's why I only have conversations with people, tough conversations with people that I know. If I know they get irritated when they're hungry, I don't have certain conversations with them during that period,
Yes.
because I know it's just not going to go over well at that moment. So I'm like, here, here's a Snickers. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff.
Listen, Sneakers have a good commercial.
They do.
Like, have a Sneakers.
Right.
But just really quick, I do want to I'm not going to be able to like go in depth about with all of these types of anger, because some of these are very self-explanatory. So we have the passive aggressive. We all know what that means. But just one way to improve that is to improve your communication skills. Explore why you're half fearful of that confrontation. Relaxation techniques. Then we also have the volatile, the sun anger person who's very impulsive. They have that reactive. Try journaling, meditation, things of that nature. And then we have the deliberate. This is more of the positive one, the coaches and all that. We have the behavioral. This manifests in a very straightforward way and physical. This person's kind of enraged. They said try breathing techniques to cope with that one. And then we also have the self-abusive. This is always the one who's like have self guilt, shame, and they're like kind of treating themselves kind of bad. And so same with that. Maybe try therapy, affirmations, things of that nature. Chronic, this is the long lasting, probably from youth or childhood that you've been dealing with trauma, whatever. You haven't dealt with it, and you have all this pain. Also therapy, meditation, gratitude, journaling. Therapy was really huge on that one. Then you have the addictive, habitual anger person who always just want to stay in that. That's just how they kind of like. I don't know. It fuels them. So just be this person don't see a problem with their actions and how they explode. Right. So they say family intervention with this one. Anger management. This kind of more of a serious one. And then the last one is the moral and judgmental one. And I thought about the Karens of the world. This one, it manifests as the righteous person who's everyone else's actions to perceive as unjust, wrong, or incorrect. So no matter, they always see something else wrong with, so they're always thinking like, no, you didn't. Like,
that's got to be exhausting when you look at everything and be like, that's not right, and then you just get upset. That's gotta be exhausting.
So when I read that one, I was like, oh, that's a Karen.
Yeah.
So, just in that one, it was kind of like just surround yourself with more honest people who like keep it real with you. Yeah. And of course, I couldn't go in depth with this, but I definitely want to. I'll probably put this in our stories to like go in depth and so people can recognize how to deal with anger, because it's just you have to be very cognizant of how you're dealing and how you're interacting with people, because nobody want to be with somebody who's always angry and can't communicate. Because passive aggressive person I cannot stand. We see a lot of times in the workplace. And listen, just communicate. Tell it might be hard, right. But just like, hey, Jo'Van, I don't like it when you hold a mic that way. It just really bothers me. Yeah, it really bothers me. Just kidding. Yeah. But seriously though, you can have those serious conversations, and like I said, like that scripture said, use nice, kind words. You don't have to be mean. Just because you confronting somebody doesn't mean that you have to be harsh or whatever. Sometimes you have to sit down and step back for a second, breathe, and then go to that person. But you have to get that out, because you don't want that passive aggressive, all that drives me insane.
Facts. And then the last thing I'll add is, like, as a Christian, even if you're not ministering to people like, hey, Jesus, blah blah blah. You always want to act, and that is a way of I just use ministering. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
oh wow, like this is a Christian, and he has emotions, but he handles them well. So you don't want to be an angry person or angry Christian, because that could put off people and be like, oh man, Christians, they angry just like me. It's like, bro, where's the peace that this faith is supposed to bring me? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
you
and so
gotta
even
take
like that last
responsibility
one
for
we were
that.
talking about with the judgmental, like you can still, like we said about, we had a judgment episode. You can still get your point across without being ugly and angry and whatever. So
Right.
especially as Christians.
Right.
So
Hey, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. If you have any thoughts on anger, and how do you tell us, how do you deal with anger? Tell us, you just give us your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Please like,
and
subscribe,
subscribe.
and share. Thank y'all very much. See y'all next time.
Bye.